here's the one that I did with the open window. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to actually turn this into a window, and I have a theme of landscapes because that's just, I always loved landscapes, so I feel like everything I do is landscapes. So anyway, my theme's landscapes. I'm going to have a window here, and I was thinking of different things to do, and I ended up coming up with painting a landscape, and I did it in watercolor. I took some watercolor paper, and I tried to make it look like it was way in the background because I wanted to look like a window looking out into the background. So I ended up like kind of giving myself a guide of the open window, and so that I knew how big of a landscape to paint. And so now I'm ready to put it together. So I want this to be a window, and I remember I was talking about this clear stuff that we had the grids on. Well, this one doesn't have the grids on it, but it's just plain. So what I want to do first is cut this to size so that I can put the window on first. And I'm just going to line it up here and just make myself some little slits of where I'm going to cut. Of course, I want it to be a little bit bigger so that I can glue it down to the board. It doesn't have to be perfect because you won't see some of it. And then I'm going to glue it down to the back here like this, and I have some hot glue ready. So I'm just going to glue this down. This messy area here is going to end up getting covered later on. So don't worry about it looking messy right now. All right. So now I have that. Looks like a window. I had a couple ideas. I thought about making like, you know how sometimes windows have like this, you know, like they're kind of like divided, maybe like that, or even, you know, like a crisscross like this. Maybe if these were even thinner it would look better. Let's see, what if I made this thinner, not as wide? I'd probably use the cutting board so that's nice and even. So maybe I'll do that. I think I'm just going to make one of these. Oops, my glue stick fell out. When you're gluing, you have to glue fast because the hot glue dries very quickly. So I'm gluing this to the back so I can see that. Like this. Oops, it's a little crooked. And the glue dries very fast. So I'm just going to lift that up and shift it a little bit so it's not as crooked. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this. And I have all these little hairs from the glue. I gotta get that off first. Kind of made it messy from the glue gun. Well, if that ends up happening, what I'd probably have you do, or you know, just because right now this is going to annoy me because it's all messy, I'd just probably cut another one. But since I am already here showing you what to do, I'm just going to quickly do this. So now I'm going to glue this. Try to center it. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, that looks kind of funny. So my other thought was I was going to actually make, you know, like the molding around the window. So I started playing with it and going like this. And then before I was like, ooh, that was actually kind of look like shutters. So maybe I will make them shutters. But then I'm like, well, I can't make it shutters because then this would be the outside. This is supposed to be like the inside looking outside. So maybe what I'll end up doing is just cutting 2 more to make like a frame that actually looks like, you know, the window frame. Or maybe the other thing that you could do is take out this white piece and then maybe make this a frame. I have like gold paint and all sorts of paint. You can, you know, paint these to make it look like there's, you know, like some type of fancy frame around it. Or if you just want it to, oh sorry, of course there's the bell. If you want it to have the shutters, maybe even bigger shutters, we can go like this. But I really liked how that looked. I mean, even though it doesn't make sense, I think it looks kind of cool. And then I can hot glue those on. Go to the other side. Of course, I have to work fast because it dries so fast. Ugh. And then that's when you make mistakes. Okay, so there's that so far. I'm probably not going to end there. I'm going to start brainstorming some ideas in my head now for what else I want to do to this. I might want to make these actually look like shutters. Maybe I'll paint them or do something with them. But that'll be my next video.